In this tutorial, I'm going to illustrate how to add a client, create a product, and generate an illustration document. Okay, your client, Travis Williams, you are preparing for your meeting with him. Travis has a flexible investment savings product and a retirement annuity. You want to ensure that his capital is invested in accordance with his needs and that he's on track to achieving his goals. He wants to retire at 65. So his date of birth is 6 of March 1965. Right, so there we go. First name Travis, surname Williams, date of birth 1965, 0306. So MiPlan makes automatic backups every 5 minutes, but you first need to save your client for the first time. Right, flexible investment savings product. The current value of that is 2,250,000. He's not currently making any monthly contributions. The percentage real increase is 0% because that applies to the monthly contributions. So let's go and add that. So under product management, so product management is the level at which you'll add normal products that you'll find on a platform. So yeah, you can see retirement annuity, preservation fund, endowment, living annuity, and so on. We are looking for a flexible investment savings product. So that's normal discretionary investment. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at this right-hand panel, working our way down. Investment value 215 million. Monthly contributions is 0%, real increase is 0. You'll see that the anniversary month will always just default to the month that we're in this case April. That's fine. Transition age means the same thing as your retirement age is 65. Utilization strategy. This is about how you intend utilizing your wealth. Do you intend drawing an income, in which case it's a voluntary drawdown, or do you intend drawing everything out in cash at retirement? You can, of course, only do that with a discretionary investment. When you're dealing with the retirement annuity, that's going to be converted to a living annuity. And of course, with your living annuity, you can only draw a minimum of 2.5% and a maximum of 17.5%. All right, so we've done that. All right. Okay, so although regular real withdrawal is next, if you're working your way down the panel, always capture the fees first before you add an income, since fees have an impact on the capital duration. If you add the income first and are happy with how long the capital will last based on the income, and then add the fees, you'll need to go back to the income and change it so that the capital still lasts up until the desired age. So to illustrate that, let's say we go to regular real withdrawal. We put in 200,000, and based on an income withdrawal of 200,000, the capital is going to last more or less up until 95. So we think that's fantastic. Then we continue and we put in our financial advisor fee of 0.5%, our platform fee 0.4, our model fee of 0.1, and our asset management fee of 1. All of a sudden, that's a completely different story. Now the income is going to be lasting you up until whatever that is, approximately 82. So it always makes sense first to put in the fees and then to go back to your real withdrawal. So I've put in those fees. So initial fees, it's an existing investment, so initial fees don't apply. Regular real withdrawals, as I was saying, this can either be a rand or a percentage, and income is always added as an annual figure. So in this case, you calculate that Travis will be able to draw approximately 150,000 per year from this investment so that it lasts up until the age of 90. Okay, so yeah, regular real withdrawal, you can go through a process of trial and error to get your income lasting up until, in this case, 90. Much easier. A little calculator button over here, which allows you to solve for a number of things. In our case, we want to solve for the income based on the current provision. So the current provision is the capital that we have at the moment, 2,250,000. That's of course still going to grow for a few years up until retirement. So we want to know what income can we get if we're happy for it to end at the age of 90. So I can go and solve that. Note now that that went from 200,000 to 152. So because of those fees, 200,000 simply wasn't possible. That's come down now to 152,000. All right, let's look at the fund selection. But before I get into that, let's first have a look at this inflation plus 7, so long-term growth asset. So it's important to understand what that means. Let's quickly read that. Right, so MiPlan divides an investor's capital into different categories. So that's cash, inflation plus 3, inflation plus 5, inflation plus 7, and long-term growth. So let's have a look at that quickly. So there you go to current portfolio, and we're going to go and have a look at our current category breakdown. There you can see long-term growth, inflation plus 7, inflation plus 5. In this case, we don't have inflation plus 3 in cash because we simply aren't close enough to retirement to warrant any capital going into that, into those categories. Right, factors such as the amount of capital the client has, the client's age, how many years they are before retirement, and the client's income requirement influence the allocation. MiPlan allocates the portion of capital that is only going to be spent after 10 years into the long-term growth category. So to illustrate that, let's pretend that the transition age is not 65, but 75. Everything is going to be going into the long-term growth category. Again, it doesn't make sense to be sitting in cash or in inflation plus 3 because there is more than sufficient time to ride out any short-term volatility. Right, so therefore, the longer the capital will last, the more capital will be allocated to the long-term growth category. Right, you have a choice to select higher risk funds by changing the long-term growth asset to equity, or you can keep the long-term growth asset on the default of inflation plus 7, in which case you can simply select the same funds that you have selected. All right, so let's actually also have a look at this the other way around. So at the moment, this is the allocation, and that's based on the fact that he is currently 58 and will be retiring at 65. So let's pretend he's not going to be retiring at 65, but that's going to actually be happening at 60. So what do we know here? He's going to start needing an income 5 years earlier than what was initially planned. So we need to start making provision for that. So you're going to start seeing how we're going to introduce the inflation plus 3 category. So as soon as I tab out of that, you'll see there, right? Inflation plus 3 now is starting to come. There we've got the 205,000 or 9% going into that category. If we bring that younger by 1 age, 59, there you can see in fact that we've got the cash category which has come into play. Right, the reason behind that, obviously we need to draw an income. An income must be drawn from a portion of the capital where there's very low volatility. In fact, I want to quickly open up this document over here. There we go. Right, so this was one of the slides from a presentation that Matthew Lester did for the FPI back in 2016, where he was illustrating how capital should be divided into different sub-portfolios based on the investment time horizon. So you're going to allocate a portion into cash, and that's where you're going to be drawing your income from. Sub-portfolio number 2 is capital that you're going to start needing in 3 to 5 years' time. Portfolio 2, 5 to 15 years' time, and so on. And this, in fact, is very much along the lines of paper that was written by members of the FPI and FIA, where they also illustrated how capital should be divided into these different categories based on the investment term. So money that Travis needs now within the next 12 months to 2 years, we're going to put that into a cash category. Right there, you got money market funds, also some income funds. Money that he's going to need in 3 to 5 years' time, you're going to go there for your CISA low equity category, multi-asset medium equity category, and so on. So the MiPlan software is very much in line with what is recommended by the FPI. Right, so there you can see the closer you are towards needing an income, the more money is going to be allocated into conservative categories.